So a lot of people assume that if you are someone who doesn't speak up about your goals, that you are not serious about them. And that could honestly be the furthest thing from the truth. In fact, there are many women who have chosen to keep their goals private on purpose because it helps them stay focused and avoid unnecessary feedback, especially when building something before anyone else could ever have the chance to form an opinion that interferes. So hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Cherrelle, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down why being quiet about what you're building can actually make you more productive, more credible, and more consistent. So if you know, you know, I love a good research-driven video. And so in today's video, we're going to do a deep dive into some ancient strategy and brand psychology to explain why privacy matters when you're trying to evolve. So there are some people who feel like sharing their goals with their close friends, their family, or just anyone willing to listen will help make them more accountable. But there is research that shows that this actually does the opposite. So a study out of NYU found that people who announced their goals actually worked less on them than those who didn't. The people who kept their plans to themselves actually spent more time doing the work. It's because when you talk about what your goals are and people validate them, there's a part of your brain that gives you a reward. That reward feels like progress even though you haven't done anything yet. So in theory, this is the reason why some people make big announcements, but they never follow through with action. I remember in 2020 when I lost my job, I decided I was going to make a candle making business. I literally went on Amazon and bought everything I needed to create candles. I started to think of the brand name that I wanted to create to go with the candles. I started to tell my family and my close friends about this brand that I wanted to launch. But somewhere along the process of actually creating this brand, I decided this wasn't the route that I wanted to take. And overall, this is something that I realize the importance of waiting to announce what you're doing. And I think overall, this is why a lot of women who are successful and serious about their goals and their plans, they know that the validation feels good when you share a big plan or you share a goal with someone else. They rather put that energy into doing the work than actually getting the praise for the idea, which leads us to our next point. So not every goal can survive public feedback. In fact, I don't know about you, but there have been several times where I've shared a goal or an idea with someone who basically found it as an opportunity to shoot my idea down by playing the devil's advocate. So especially when the goal is connected to your identity, like maybe you want to switch careers, you want to launch something new like a business or a brand or a product or a service, or you're trying to simply just become something different than what people expect you to be. So there is a psychologist who studied goal intention. He found that the more personal or identity-based the goal is, the more harmful it is to share too early. So through this study, he found that the people who were more committed to their goals, they actually performed worse when they talked about their goals publicly. And this is because when something really matters to you and someone doubts it, it hits your confidence differently. You start second guessing yourself, even if you were confident just 5 minutes ago thinking about it all alone. So again, I don't know about you, but there have been several times where I came up with an idea, even not around a business. Let's say I had an idea while I was in college. I wanted to transfer universities, but my GPA did not say that I was serious about school. I remember going to speak to my advisor and I was telling her my plans for joining the marketing program, and she literally looked me dead in the eye and said that I was better off changing my major to undecided just so I wouldn't continue to waste my parents' money. However, in moments like that where I am being challenged based off of something that I know I truly desire, something that I really want, all it did was really just add some fuel to the fire. I actually locked in for the next 2 semesters, which brought my GPA up high enough to not only get into the marketing program, but to transfer to a whole different university. So all in all, goals like this that are attached to your identity, or again, just something that you deeply desire to achieve, especially in the early stage, these kind of goals need to be protected. These kind of goals need the time to form without the outside opinions. You don't need a bunch of feedback from your family, your friends, your advisors, your mentors, especially when you're trying to figure it out for yourself. These kind of goals just need your focus and they need the privacy in order to progress. So often there is a common idea that getting input will make your plan better, but in reality, too much feedback will actually hold you back, especially in that early process. You will find that as you start to get input from those on the outside, you start to adjust your approach based on what other people think you should be doing instead of what actually makes sense to you. And as you continue to strive to achieve this goal, you find yourself editing a plan that was never even yours to begin with. This makes me think about when you are in an environment that's meant to be collaborative, but everyone wants to share their input. Everyone has an idea. Often what happens is maybe you're sitting at a round table. This person thinks we should take Y approach. That person thinks we should take a Z approach. What often happens is by the end of that meeting, the only thing that you've gotten accomplished is why X shouldn't happen, why Z should come before Y, and why Y should probably be replaced with Q. So in so many ways, silence is the solution. When you keep your goals private, you actually help yourself remove the noise. You allow yourself the space to test things out, to fail, to pivot, and to try again without having to explain to anyone else where you are in the process. And this is especially important if you are someone who tends to overthink or second guess yourself. So having this silence or privacy around your goals, it isn't meant to isolate you from those who you value their opinion or you value their input. It is allowing yourself to be the leader over your decisions without the outside distractions. So one of the most important things that I want to talk about when it comes to just keeping your goals silent is that keeping things private allows you to have a strategic advantage. Not everything is about productivity. Not everything is about copying a model of success. Sometimes things are about just figuring things out and positioning them as you go. So philosophers and strategists have emphasized this for centuries. The Stoics believed in acting without needing to broadcast, and in modern strategy, the 48 laws of power include an entire law called conceal your intentions. And the idea here is simple. When people don't know what you're building, they cannot block it, they can't copy it, they can't interfere with it. So therefore, keeping your goals, your ideas to yourself as they are growing, it helps you eliminate unnecessary resistance and it keeps you in control of the outcome. So again, this isn't about being secretive or playing games with people. It is just simply about reducing the noise and maintaining leverage over the things that you have a desire to achieve. I think about it like this. When people see your finished product and not just your rough draft, you don't have to justify why you took a certain approach over a different one. So you absolutely still may be judged for the results, but I think the part that is most important is that as you are going through this process, you are not being overly criticized. It gives you the ability to show up as the leader. You have the opportunity to learn a lot of things that can be applied in different projects or different areas or different goals that you will set throughout your life. And that's what makes the biggest difference, especially in spaces where you are the creator of your reality. So this part is really key, especially if you are someone who is building a personal brand, because in branding, people don't remember what you say, they remember what you deliver. And this is something that most successful women understand. They reveal things when they're done, not while they're still trying to figure things out. So one of the most successful women that comes to mind when it comes to keeping your goals and your plans private is no one other than Beyonce.
Don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't just dream about what you're going to do. Don't criticize somebody else for what they're not doing. You be it. Be about it. Be about that action and go do it. Keep your eye on your intention.
In 2013, she recorded a full album in secret without saying a word. No promo, no press, no warning. Literally, world stop. Carry on. And it worked because she was already a pretty private person. We only really see her when she's on the red carpet or attending an award show or performing at her very own concerts. But usually, like any other artist, she would normally drop a teaser on social media to basically hint to the world that something is coming. Now, I'm not saying that everyone needs to follow the Beyonce effect to create shock value, but the principle is the same. Focus on executing your goals, your dreams, your vision, your plan, and focus less on creating exposure. So keeping your goals private is not about playing small. It's actually more about giving yourself the ability to stay focused. So as you are on this journey of becoming the brand that you desire to be, you have got to learn how to master creating enough distance between what you're building and the noise that could stop it from happening. And when you start performing for approval or just for the sake of progressing, you actually create space for you to just go through the process, to enjoy it, and to make the most out of it. And like any journey that you go through, if it's losing weight, if it's creating a business, if it's dating that will one day hopefully lead to marriage and kids, there will always be a time to share your journey, but let your results speak for themselves. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. Before you leave, I do have several resources that I've created to help you become the brand of your dreams. As always, you can find these resources down below in the description box. Be sure to subscribe as you continue to become the woman of your dreams, one day, one habit, and one choice at a time. See you in my next video.